which we've done without further ado, and we're going to share my screen. And hopefully you can see that. Great. Well, without further ado, going to start the ball rolling and say good afternoon to everybody. Welcome to my study. It's our 2 o'clock session. And today we're going to talk all about Facebook for Business. So for anybody who's a first timer on this, please, a very, very warm welcome. I have been sitting here, for the last, well, I have moved in that time, but for the last 28 weeks we've been here. And we're here every Tuesday afternoon. And so delighted to be your guide for the next hour. Now, there's normal rules apply. This is what we're going to talk. We've got the chat line. I have to mute everybody. So please accept my apologies for that. So we're using the chat line. Let's go back. We are going to record this, so that will be available on my YouTube channel and also through the Humber Growth channel. And I will send you a copy of the slides together with any links. So you'll get that through. There's our Twitter handle. Anyone wants to engage that way. And as always, I say there is the opportunity for those of you who would like me to darken your door under the Humber Growth Program. There's the opportunity for one-to-one marketing support. So, yes, right. Catherine has asked, how can we find your YouTube channel? And I will endeavour to give the information there later. We could do so. If you wish to subscribe, you'll get copies of this and other musings. Now, let's move swiftly. A lot to cover. We're going to talk all today about Facebook business. But we know, as always, those of you who have been before, you might notice we do a bit of a quiz. There will also be some contrived humour during the course of the afternoon. Please keep an eye out for that. And for those of you who are ironing as well, behind your screen, I hope it's going okay. For those of you who are a bit tidying, enough, and of you staring intently at the screen with your pieces of paper and your pen, thank you. Gosh, hasn't a lot happened in the last week? Goodness gracious. We've got a second vaccine. Yeah, talk about that. That's a shot in the arm for everybody. Oh yeah, all sad news, wasn't it? Sad news about Des O'Connor. Des O'Connor died at the weekend, didn't he? It's so sad to see great entertainers like Des pass away. I wonder who's next. I guess we'll have to take your pick. And so, without further ado, we'll move on. So my name is Simon Shepherd. That's as in red sky at night, shepherd's delight, blue sky at night, daytime. So welcome aboard. We're going to talk all about Facebook. As you know, we don't want to disappoint anybody. We can't disappoint anybody. We've got to have our afternoon little quiz to get you all warmed up. Now, first quiz question. Who's that? You have to be a certain age group and a real challenge for you. Anyone want to? Oh, I've got some answers on the chat line here already. I'll tell you what. Oh, yeah, Kevin. Oh, Sal, sorry. Yes, that, yeah, we're on it here. For those of you who are staring at the screen in a certain disbelief, you have to be a certain age group. No, that's Bamber Gascoigne. He of the first presenter of University Challenge, and that is Bamber right now. Yeah, Mark knows the answer, showing his age. Yes, there we go. Look at that. Doesn't he look a bit like Jonathan Price? Yeah, top man. Top man. That was a Bamber Gascoigne impression. Right, let's move on. Right, next one. Who's this? So these are all entrepreneurs. That's a clue. It's all entrepreneurs, all marketing people. Who is that for today? Have we got pen and paper ready? Who's that? Come on the chat line. Who's going to answer that one? Who's going to chant? Nope. Oh, Dave. Dave's the man. Dave, yeah, get in there. That is John DeLorean. He of the famous car made in Belfast. So, yeah, well-known car. Some of you thinking, what's all this got to do with Facebook? Well, you know, I thought I'd put that in there because this is Back to the Future. I actually laugh at my own jokes these days. Yeah, but you know what that film was about? It's all about the power of love. Right, let's move on. Who's that then? Come on then, you won't get that one. You won't get that one. Who's this famous? Famous? Oh no, tell me Dave's it again. Who's this? Have you seen this before, Dave? Have you seen this before? He's been on. He's on fire today, Dave. Who that is? I do know because I prepared the presentation, so I know the answer. Steve Wozniak. Ooh, Steve Wozniak. Well, if you anyone seen the film Steve Jobs? Anyone seen the film Steve Jobs? He was his mate and co-founder and Apple guy. Yeah. There we go. Steve Wozniak. Yeah. Look like he enjoyed himself. Right. Now then, who's that? Aha! That's caught you out. Who's that? Oh no, don't tell me he's got another one. If he's got another one, he's going to have to. Oh yeah, Deborah. Deborah. Way, yes. This gentleman was a bit of a legend. I've got a scarf like that, you know. A bit of a legend. Sir Clive Sinclair. He of the first person, I believe, to invent slimline pocket calculator and the C5. Yeah, there we go. Now, come on, you won't get that one. And it's not that bloke from Men Behaving Badly. Right then, smarty pants. Who's this? The chat line's gone quiet. Oh no, he's done it again. It's not Donald Trump. Honestly. That you've all used his product. Not Brian Cox. Terry, you've all used his product, and you've probably all used his product today. No prizes given out for this one. That gentleman, a bit hard. It's a hard one. This one, actually, hard one. Larry Page. He of one of the co-founders of Google, and a special prize if you can tell me who his partner was. And don't go googling it. That's not a joke, by the way. Oh, there you go. No, don't take his fat. Let's move on. Right then, who's that? Marketing quiz. An absolute hero. Who's going to have a stab at that one? Yes, Colonel Sanders. Now, Colonel Sanders. Here's a great. If you ever want us to read a story that is inspiring, starting a business, that gentleman there was penniless at the age of 65. I think he invested $100, which was his pension or social security as an American, in his business. There we go. And look what happened next. I think he has a record number of failures, about 1,000. But what a legend. Anybody who was lucky enough, bit of a story for me, a bit of an anecdote here, who's ever been to Louisville, Kentucky, well worth a trip to a great place, Louisville, home of Muhammad Ali, Colonel Sanders, Wemmer Bank, Fort Knox, etc. But yeah, all an inspiring business story. Colonel Sanders. Right, last ones. Who's that then? Who is that? No, I bet no one's going to get that. No one's going to get that. Yeah, you see, should have shown the beard. Can't give him away easily enough. Who's that? The answer's on his forehead. Oh no, who's got that one? Beans. God. Mark, come on, get real. That is Howard Hughes. Now, Howard Hughes had 4 ambitions in life. You know this? The world's richest man, the world's greatest aviator, the world's greatest film producer, the world's greatest golfer. And he claimed he achieved 3 of those 4 things. You know which one he didn't achieve? He did. He also, yes, he wasn't the first famous golfer. The Spruce Goose. So anyone been to, I went there, into Los Angeles to see the Spruce Goose, the world's largest flying machine. There we go. Now, who's that? We're getting to there. We'll get to the main event in a minute. Don't worry. We'll get there. Who's that? Anyone want to take that one up? Amazon. Yes, it is. It's Jeff. So there we go. That was today's quiz. And who is that? Who is that? Yes, who is that? You can't just write Facebook. You can't just write Facebook. Come on, last one. That, Linda, is correct. Well done, Linda, Mark, Sal, and everyone who's got that. That gentleman is Mark Zuckerberg. So, and that's who we're going to talk about today. There we are. There he is, Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg founded this particular organization called the Facebook on February the 4th, 2004. Can you remember what you were doing in 2004? Don't make me blush. Remember what you're doing? A long time ago, 16 years ago, no less. So that was the image on the Facebook. Now there's an extra special prize. If anyone can tell me whose image that is on the original the Facebook, I'll give you a clue. Give you a clue? Well, should I give you a clue on this dog day afternoon? No. No, there was a clue. Not John Lennon. That Al Pacino. His image was behind all this code on the Facebook. He was the godfather of images on the Facebook. So it all began this way. Mark was sitting in his half, and he invented this face smash. And look at that, not politically correct. It was kind of like a dating. And he had to choose between which one of those two, who's hotter, click to choose. Not the most PC thing, but he was experimenting with activities in that regard. So using images, and so it became a Facebook is a student directory featuring photos and basic information. And there wasn't an online version at Harvard. So Mark and his merry gang decided to make one. Now, anyone find it Netflix, you'll probably find this, or on Prime, great film, The Social Network, which tells the story about the time at Harvard and whether our friend Mark actually plagiarized somebody else's idea. The two brothers and the other guy who they actually ultimately settled out of court. Then it wasn't his, but well worth a visit to watch The Social Network. So let's move swiftly along. And do you know where that is? I know you might like that. It looks like their business is blossoming there. And do you know what that is? Facebook headquarters. Yeah, who got that one? Silicon Valley. Yes, it's Facebook HQ. There it is. Nestled there. So let's move swiftly along and tell you a little bit of a story before we move on. He became, at 23, the world's youngest self-made billionaire. Good for him. And I think, I'm correct, and maybe wrong now, he's the only person under 40 years old in Forbes' list of the 20 richest people. There we go. And Facebook, another little quiz. Facebook's logo is blue because, hey, when you're sitting watching Emmerdale tonight, you'll be thinking, I know something that I didn't know before. So you'd be saying, I wonder where Seth Armstrong is. No? So, well, go on then. Who's going to get this one? Harvard colours. Phil, great guess. Anyone else before we push the answer in front of your very eyes? Facebook's logo is blue because Mark Zuckerberg has red-green colour blindness, spelt the American way. Do you notice how I smoothly used American spelling there? There we go. Red-green colour blindness. Yeah, you see. You know, every day's a learning day. He speaks ancient languages, Latin. He can speak Mandarin. I'm sure I could put a joke in there. He met his wife in line for the bathroom at Harvard. Yeah, I wonder where I met my wife. I know where last time I saw my wife. In the divorce courts. Only a joke. He's on Twitter. He's only posted, I believe, 16 times. Yeah, he's on Twitter, lad. You'll find him there. Yeah, always keeping the opposition. And he's an admirer of Steve Jobs, no less. And they both have the same phrase on their business card. There we go. Well, that's it. So that's all about, and there he is. There he is, an all modern picture. And those of you who are learned enough will know who he is sitting next to. Yeah, I wonder who knows who he's sitting next to. You don't? I'll tell you. Well, we've got Imran's joining us. So there we go. Who's he sitting next to? Oh, got the chat line again. Obama? No. I don't know. I don't know. But I think on the right, to his right, is a lady called Sheryl Sandberg, who is the chief executive now of Facebook. There we go. Look at her. Look her up. Now, here's a little tip for you. You know, he's not quite in the Bill Gates mode, but Mark Zuckerberg is a philanthropist. So many of you may have applied for business grants through our learned friends at the Humberlet. Give you a shout out. Yeah, thank you. Always keep in contact with the paymasters. But you can also find a small business grants program run by Facebook. Go onto their website and register. It is winging its way across the Atlantic. Check it out. Remember where you heard it first. Facebook small business grants. There you are. Right, quiz time again. The next slide is going to show, and I've shown this one before, so you should get this right. The most popular social media channels are. Anyone know the top three? Good to have a little drink now while you're scratching that on your bit of paper. Right. Allow somewhere, you know. Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, says Tracy. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now Zoom. Ooh. Well, I'm sorry. One more guess before we move on. TikTok, says Tracy. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Wrong, 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 wrong. I'm smug. I've got the answer because it's here. Next slide. Oh, quick look on the chat line. Pinterest, Snapchat. Keep guessing. There you go. The most popular social media platforms in 2020. Number 1, Facebook. Second, YouTube. Third, WhatsApp. And Facebook Messenger. 4th, and WeChat for 5th, which people like Kevin, in business in China, will know. And you'll see that there are 4 of the top 6 are all Facebook products. Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and Facebook. So we'll cover those. Now, the key thing with marketing on social media, in particular, these are statistics here relating to the UK market. It's to know who your audience is and what you are trying to do. So many of you who have survived these webinars before will know that I speak, marketing is very much about who is your audience, what's your message, how can you reach them. And it's very useful to know who your audience is and where they are. You can see atypically in Facebook, you've got about 32 million UK users between the ages of 25 to 54. Those of you with children or teenagers will know Facebook is a bit for old. Facebook is for oldies. We're all doing something else. And you would describe that principally Facebook has been used for building relationships. That's personal and professional, and probably the best tool for brand loyalty. And you look across all the other platforms, which we don't have time for today, to see what they're doing. Now, I have shown this before. So what's happening in the apps worldwide? Cover this very swiftly. The most downloadable app has been in Q2 has been TikTok. Then I think Sal mentioned Zoom's there, and Facebook. And you can go forth, but then you flip over to the right-hand side, and you'll see that Facebook is still the most actively used. And underneath that, the most actively used are 3 other Facebook products. Messenger, and we'll come on to those, and using Facebook for business. So in simple terms, Facebook has 1.5 billion daily active users. 5 times the population of the US, 20% of the world's population, and it's still growing. It would have, I think it claims to have about over 2 billion monthly users. So it's a beast. Now, today, for the next short while, I'm going to talk about Facebook in terms of inbound. We don't have time, unfortunately, to cover Facebook ads. They will be for another day. But thinking very much about an inbound strategy that you would like to be perceived as helpful and relatable to your audience. So really the key thing here is to understand your goals of your customers and then kind of partner with them. So really what you want to be is where they are spending their time, and to avoid not missing them. That means you really, you need to be on Facebook. I would think there's quite a hard to justify not having some form of Facebook presence, irrespective of whether you're a consumer or a service or business to business, because your clients will be there. Give you an example which is extreme on this. I have a client that supplies equipment to the police, and police officers are on Facebook and they follow this company on Facebook. Now, so you can imagine a lot of the posts on Facebook for this company, who are just marketing in very general terms, even account for something that may be considered inappropriate or not necessary, but they are. Police officers do have a life outside of their day-to-day world. So really, my advice to you is to think about, it's about relationships, and building relationships was a theme I will like to return to, and long-term relationships. So here is your marketing plan. What I'd love you to do is to create and distribute quality content that's helpful for users. Create and distribute quality content that's helpful. And then allow, you want to connect with consumers interested in a brand. So content, and you want people to be starting to get interested in your brand. That is, in essence, your 2-line marketing plan, but not to be spammy, annoying, or deceiving. Okay? So these words come straight from the Facebook website. They advise you to tell your story beautifully on any device. That's a nice word, isn't it? Tell your story beautifully on any device. So, who can remember that? Oh, Marvin, do you know, I'm going to go and do another ah. Anyone recognize anybody on that photograph? You get a special prize if you know them all. Yes. Anyone recognize anybody there? Well, you've got some names cropping up. Judi Dench. Yes. Bernard Cribbins, Mark. Yeah, absolutely right. For those of you of a certain age group, you might be David Jason. Jack Canori. Some of you are sitting there thinking, what the heck is he talking about? What's that old bloke on about? You've got some very famous people there who were on Jack Canori, which is a child's television program, but it's all about telling story, a narrative told in an interesting way. You might wish to think about your own social media and your own Facebook as being a narrative and a story told in an interesting way. And you're right, you've got people like Jan Francis, Judi Dench, David Jason, Bernard Cribbins, Alan Bennett. You've also got Kenneth Williams. So best carry on now. Tell you what, you can't even write them, can you? Right, let's move swiftly along. So you're really focusing very much in terms of, a narrative over a longer period of time. You're not necessarily posting for tomorrow. So you've got to think about it being a love story or a narrative told over a period of time, building relationships. That story was told over how many years? Over 30 years that story was told. I was up to, I tell you what. Do you know when I saw that film? I saw it on May the 4th. And I was gutted. I was gutted with when Han was killed. Spoiler alert, he was killed by his own son. Devastated, absolutely, I was. Yeah. There we go. Right, anyway, so who would like, and Yoda speak again, who would like a free Facebook marketing plan? Would you? I haven't said that in Yoda voice. Like a free Facebook marketing plan, would you? Well, I'm going to give you one. Oh, but I tell you what. How about this? Did you know this? Well, no, you didn't. Go on to the Facebook for Business website. And there is an interactive plan, as you can see in the screen there, to create a Facebook plan and also an Instagram plan. And what you have to do is, in effect, tell Facebook all about your clients and what you're trying to do, and it will create a plan for you. Now, how many of you knew about that? No, that was my Alan Bennett voice. Yeah, so there you go. Create yourself a marketing plan, Facebook for Business. Well, hey, are you writing that down? Right, let's crack on. Think of it this way. Your 3 main goals with your marketing for Facebook, I would imagine, are this. You would like to increase your awareness online. You want to connect with customers, and you want to get more business online. I'm going to take you through some steps to do that and conclude today's webinar at 1 minute to 3 with some tips. Right. So how to increase your awareness online? Well, naturally, the first thing to do is to create a Facebook page. And here you've got an example of Little Lemon, and they managed to do this in a jiffy. And you can see the sort of zest they've put into this. They've created a fantastic image and talked about what open now relative to the current situation. A cafe serving healthy and tasty treats. Link. So the first thing I'd advise anybody to do is to go into your Facebook page. If you haven't done so, look at the banner image. Does it really portray what you do? And so a fantastic image would be the great starting point, and to create a page. Got a question on the chat line here. 1, 2. Right, moving on. So create a Facebook page. So here's an example of Burt's Bees. What they've done is create use a hashtag, change for nature, and they've put their brand within the circle, and then they've got their own domain. So you can see what they've done, a very simple message. I've seen so many pages with very complicated or calls to action, all sort of things. A very powerful image on your Facebook page. I'll give you an example of a business here called the Boston Coat Company. You've got the opportunity, as you can see there, to add a cover. What they've done, you can see, is add a coat there, which is catering for the weather there in Boston. They've put their description in there, which is fantastic. I'll read it to you. Boston Coat Company is your favorite online store for ethically sourced outwear inspired by the diverse Boston seasons. So capturing the essence of the business, and there the image also reflects that. As you know, doing business in Boston is no tea party, but it's you can see what they're doing there, and then you can use your page. Time is so short today to actually add all the bits about their company. And naturally, the key thing here, if you haven't done so already, or creating a page, is to create your own page username, which will be very beneficial. Easy to remember, the Boston Coat Company. So, very simple stuff about creating your own page and being reflective of your brand. What? So you've gone on now, he's talking about something completely different. Well, Facebook and Instagram are brother and sister. So I cannot suggest or advise enough that you not only have a Facebook account, that you also create alongside that an Instagram account. As you can see, Little Lemon, don't worry, I'm not taking the pith. Little Lemon, I've done that as well. So, you know, having Instagram account as well. I'll explain why in a moment. And the first, so once you've created the account, is then share content, which we'll revisit in about 10 minutes time about the different types of content you can share. But I will tell you this in advance: a picture paints 1,000 words, but I'll tell you what paints a lot more: video. So the next thing you'd think about is for people to see your product or service using live videos. And native video in Facebook has far more impact than setting up links. I'll return to that in a moment. And the key thing here, as you can see, this business is not being shellfish, or they're not trying to flex their muscles, but they're trying to express themselves, you know, with funny, engaging stories. So they've got an image there, you know, of the seafood, and it's really powerful. So this is where I would encourage everybody not just post the bland. You know, there's an expectation on social media to take a calculated risk to express yourself, fun, engaging stories, which you can obviously do within Facebook stories as well as in your feed. So they're the key actions in trying to engage online. The next thing is to think about how you would connect with customers. Okay, increasing awareness of you. And this is, I'm just going to choose this particular removal company. Does anyone know the name of that removal company? Any takers on the chat line for that? Anyone? No. Yes, it's a bit of a control, but it's Pickford's. Yeah. Football fans, if he's the best goalkeeper in England, I'm a Dutchman. Right. Anyway, so think about an example of a removal business. Okay, what you would do in terms of your presence online, connecting with your customers. The first thing you would do in this situation here is to give people the option to use private messaging. This is the integration between Messenger, WhatsApp, and Facebook. So you want people in this situation, can I get a moving estimate? You want to encourage customers to communicate with you. I would also suggest in that type of business, obviously, forgive the Americanism, is to join groups, particular groups that are relevant to you. Now, you'll all probably find in the whole Grimsby, wherever you may be in the Humber region, that there will be relevant groups relating to you that you would choose to join. So I'd encourage you to search high and low for the relevant groups where you can be influencers, or start your own group. Now, next thing in terms of increasing your presence is to help friends and family like your page. There's a tool within Facebook. You know, I did it. I asked both my friends to like my page, and they kindly obliged. So I got 100% success rate. So you inviting people. Use the tool effectively to invite people to like your page. It's a great natural starting point for your business. And then, did you know, within your tool, in these days of social responsibility and awareness, that you consider the fundraising tool that exists there, either to raise funds from a charitable basis or for your business. So there are different things you can do in that way. And the third element is to try and get more business online. So how do I do that? Well, first thing I would suggest that you do, to be on Facebook, to be on Instagram with business accounts on both, and then to actually use the Facebook and Instagram shops. You can see in this example the Lucky Shrub. You know, is selling items which you can add to the basket and buy. So you're buying off Facebook and off Instagram. So obviously it's only it's only a little acorn here, but you can really grow your business in this area. So to actually sell your product, as well as you've got the option in using Marketplace as well. But Facebook page, business page, Instagram business page have the opportunity, if your business allows, to actually create a shop. You've also got the chance here, not a staged photograph there, is it? Manage the bookings. You've got an appointments tool as well there. You can see for people to make when it was appropriate to go and visit. So you've also got the appointments tool to add to your website. People can book, particularly would suit restaurants or wherever it might be. But in this situation as well, the key thing as well always is to think about calls to action. So by putting up images as the here, you've got the option to create action. You can learn more, shop now, or send messages. It's spoon feeding your customers. You know, in fact, you're planting seeds here for your customers with these action buttons. By the way, I can't keep up these arboreal metaphors anymore. So the other way you might think, obviously, then is to add events. These obviously can be online or offline. So in this situation, they're doing planting with a family. You can invite people on Facebook to come to events, or that's not bad, $25 now. The store manager, a fantastic tool, not just using LinkedIn, but also for recruitment. So there's some ways in which in terms of building a brand, getting customers online, and also to actually shop online. These are the things here. Now, confession time. These content I put in front of you comes straight from the Facebook website. These are things that they are advising you to do. Very simple process. You can see a lot of the activity in terms of how they would suggest you follow. But here, I will now take you through some of the key advantages and things you can do in actually using Facebook. Firstly, you've got the opportunity, if you're going to run ads, to allow people to target very narrow or very specific customer bases. You will have your own customer data, but then also you can create a custom audience, which is the Facebook data. If all your audience was, for example, golfers aged 30 to 50 living in Yorkshire, Facebook could create a secondary audience that isn't associated with you, that's a custom audience on the data they've given. So Facebook probably is the best tool for advertising because you can be so specific in your audience targeting. Secondly, one of the great things to do, and how many of you are using this? Who uses the custom tabs? Well, Coca-Cola did. And this is the real thing here, because you can see they've created various different custom tabs or pages within the overall page relating to the home page, events, videos, etc. You can create specific tabs, pages within the overall Facebook page there that may be more specific to your audience, as I mentioned about photos, events, etc. stories, whatever it may be. The custom tabs present an opportunity for you to use. Now, Facebook contests or competitions. Here is a great example of the Cupcake Coffee Box. So what they're doing, they're engaging with other local retailers and they're giving away a voucher to spend at another retailer. All they had to do was like and share this post, and it was a retailer that was close by to them. It's a fantastic way of getting engagement as well as co-promoting something else. They support other businesses by mentioning them on their Facebook page. So all they were offering was a £25 voucher to shop somewhere else. They got 556 likes, reached 40,000 people, and 10,000 engagement. That's more than Princess Anne's ever been on. So you can see that just by being actually adding and mentioning other businesses and cross-referring, there's a great opportunity. Here is another example of a supplements business doing a similar thing. They just invited their customers to ask which products they wanted to include in their winter sale. And you can see the same results. They've got comments, they've got reactions, they've got shares. You're actually carrying out, in both situations, some form of engagement. So we all like a competition or a quiz and a prize. There's two examples there. You'll get a copy of the slides, you'll see these. Now, what's this doing on the screen? Well, it's probably the biggest single opportunity that people miss. Is that when you are posting next on Facebook, as the Cupcake Company did, was actually to mention or tag in another business, or even to look at tagging a customer, or because it's the best way of seeking very simple engagement. They'll appear in their feed and they will hopefully automatically share the post. So please think about when you're writing next, use the @ sign. Now, some of you are thinking, what about the old hashtag, Simon? What about the hashtag? Well, do hashtags work on Facebook? The answer is they've been on Facebook for quite some time, but not used to their full extent. But they have two major advantages that make the post searchable. So hashtag hull or hashtag wherever it might be, you've got a better chance of making your post found if people are conducting a search. And there's a chance to be more interactive that way. But I would strongly counsel against just, and I'm sorry to put it in these terms, being lazy and just taking an Instagram post with 30 hashtags and dumping it into Facebook or vice versa. I personally advocate making bespoke content tailored for each platform. Now, how many hashtags should we include? Well, there is your answer. The more you put in, the less engagement you get. So for those of you who may be cross-posting and using the hashtag post from Instagram into Facebook, might not be getting the bang for your buck. So putting one hashtag in, or even 2 or 3, ideally, so it flows through the content, as opposed to listing them at the end of the post, I think might be a more pertinent way to go. Quick example here, you'll see this in the slides. Adobe were posting on Instagram and then posting on Facebook. But you'll see when I send it to you, they're using different or not as many hashtags, and often in Facebook and in Instagram, they actually write the content, but then they comment on their own posts, which is a great way of getting additional hashtags or mentions in as well. But when you see those two examples, you'll see you use the same picture, but different means of posting. So one question often asked is, where can I find hashtags? And what are the most popular ones? Well, Hashtagify Me is a great way to get a great site to visit. You can see the hashtags that are trending and most common. So have a little play there. Right. Facebook is a great platform for video marketing. It is, because, as the slide suggests, if you are using Facebook native videos, you are likely to get far greater number of interactions per video than any other platform. You'll film something like here. This gentleman is showing a guy who was 90 years of age going off microlight, and he was taking video and then posting it to Facebook, as opposed to linking to Facebook. So it's a native video, and you liked it to get far greater engagement. So using native videos. And then on your home page, you've got the opportunity to add your video there, but always, 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 that's 3 always, add a call to action. Don't just give people information. As I mentioned earlier, you can do so much, inviting people, doing things. Always add a call to action on your posts, videos, etc. As you can see in this type of situation, where they've used the thumbnail and they've created content, and you've got something there to build on. So think carefully about always what you want people to do. So Facebook Live, to actually create live video, is a fantastic way to do all sorts of different things. I'll explain some of the things in a moment you can do on Facebook Live. Here was an example that Starbucks did. They went out with their representatives and talked about volunteering, and it was all filmed live. So you've got the opportunity as well to use this on other platforms. So think about, you may be in places, wherever they might be, where you want to use live video. And just like in the BBC, you've got the opportunity to create playlists and to put things in a particular order with your videos. So you've got that facility, also if it's combined with the likes of the custom tabs. And finally, in terms of advantages, you've then got fantastic information for audience insights. Depending on the number of views you've got information relating to who your audience is. So it's such a godsend in marketing to have science behind you. So think about using the insights as well. So finish off just for 5 minutes on just some very simple, quick tips to use Facebook. Firstly, to make sure you've got a consistent brand. So if you're putting an image in your header and you're also on other platforms, make sure you're using the same one. With the caveat that I've seen very clever things done, and a golf club I know local to me is a great example of this, whereby they've got 4 images of the golf course, which they alternate on Facebook. And those 4 images are spring, summer, autumn, winter. A photograph taken in front of the 18th green with the clubhouse behind from the same spot, 4 images, and they change that each year. How clever, simple is that? Do that across all your platforms. But you don't want to be the pub bore. Now, one thing I would say about posting on Facebook, I think one of the biggest challenges a lot of businesses face is it's a disproportionate, that they post too much and don't engage enough. So what I'd encourage you to do is to think about original, funny, engaging stuff that you post on Facebook. But as it clearly says there, you don't avoid posting too often, because people think you live on the computer, you will become the pub bore. So think carefully, and the answers are here. Clearly suggesting, depending on the number of followers you've got, if you've got more followers, you can actually have more posts. But if you've got a small number of followers, it's generally saying that you would post probably somewhere between 1 and 5 times, once a week or so, on your platforms. It don't have to be there all the time, but I would encourage you to actually be commenting on posts and engaging with others, and also post and repurposing other material. Aha. Oh, question always asked is, what's the best times to post on Facebook? Well, there's your answer. Now, this is very much related to consumer. We can see that, that often you see Sunday mornings, Saturdays, and at certain times of day, there are some clear places you can go where you can seek greater engagement. by posting at certain times of the day. Sometimes you want to hit people when they're sitting in front of the TV at night time, but experiment with what works for you, not casting tablets of stone. Now, if you are running ads on Facebook, you've got all the measurement tools you'll need. So that's one of the best ways of running ads, that you can see exactly who it's reached, when it reached them, their age, their location, their gender. You've got some fantastic tools in measurements if you're going to run ads on Facebook. Great place to go. So if you know, even just running a very inexpensive ad, you've got the tools to see if it works. Critically, I would encourage everybody to think very much about all the time, building relationships as these two, and to think about that. Next thing to think of is, of course, good slide, this one. Entice your fans. Yeah. Sorry if the image is a bit grainy. And jokes are getting cornier. But all these tips now are things you can do to entice your fans. Think really carefully about the openings. Don't just write, here's my latest blog post. How about, this might seem ridiculous, but it's been proven to work. I've seen those type of things, a very strong opening statement that is designed maybe to shock, but look at newspapers, it's all in the headline. So think about creating a strong, thought-provoking, provocative opening statement. And think about the way you post. Here are two examples of businesses that have taken fantastic, engaging, unique photographs. And if you've got film images that are a little left field, that your eye wanders in those, you've got a far better way than taking some sterile or some shutter stock images. Think really carefully about taking a risk. But you can use the likes of iPicky. So you can see the original photo, and there's that particular app you can use to smarten up some of your images. Also, to think you may choose to think about using infographics as well. They're using Canva and other sites like that. You can create some fantastic infographics. Alternatively, you know, there's again within Canva, use quotations rather than just put something bland up there. To actually use a quotation and put it in a nice graphic design way. And then think about the use of memes. Now, does everyone know which is the most used meme? Well, on the next slide, you're going to see the top 10. The 10 most popular emojis. And there they are. How many of you are using those? You can see the one which is most common. So again, often you can bring life to posts by using the right emojis. And to think that by creating what is known as evergreen content, you can use content again and again and again. You just may need updating. Great place to spy on your competitors. Facebook is fantastic. They cannot see who's visited their site. You can just use the likes of Hootsuite to see what people are posting on Facebook. So always use a chance to spy on your competitors. To think about your image and about presentation. This guy is now going to be the tourism officer, I think, in Barnard Castle, but it was all about image and trying to portray things. So think about your own image. And sometimes, that's my holding snaps there, as I mentioned, to take something more of a calculated risk. Use images that entice and excite. And to avoid exactly this. There's so many bland posts out there with little engagement. If you're taking a chance with images, photographs, strong statements, I think you're more likely to get a little bit more success. But finally, These are the kind of things you can do very quickly. You can ask questions. You can use branded graphics like Canva there to portray things. You can give advice and tips. Here, take risks, be disruptive, and don't look back. The best advice I've ever got. And a great image there. It's asking a question with an interesting image. Show behind the scenes, like here on National Pet Day, which this place did. Show some trending topics. Stay home, Dr. Seuss. Again, it's in keeping with everything we have at the moment. Exciting product photos. Oreo, don't just show a boring packet of biscuits. Show the images. Take a chance. So much you can do. Here is a chance to put offers on. Then you've got a very simple reason, 50% off and a fantastic image. People are enticed by that. Again, depending on what time you're posting. So much you can do. And to use video where possible. So how-to videos, new products, thank yous to customers, testimonials, and ads. Lots you can do in terms of the way that you use videos, as shown here. But look at this. This is shown on Instagram, but also on Facebook. 6 seconds, Starbucks in showing creamer. You can use those type of tools yourself with some of the Magisto and Canvas of this world to create great little videos. So, there endeth the lesson. Facebook for business. And in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to conclude with a few futures. WhatsApp for business. It is probably the next thing that's coming. So you may wish to start experimenting by having WhatsApp business app and integrating that with your Facebook page, and a great way of communicating. It will be probably the next best thing that's coming. And then also, because they're all coming together to use Messenger for business. People like Lego have used that. Great way, and it integrates with chatbots as well. So Messenger and WhatsApp are probably the future in terms of the integration between WhatsApp, Messenger, Facebook, and Instagram. And without further ado, I promised you I'd finish at 2:59. I've covered a lot of ground today. Hopefully you found it engaging. I will go to the chat line in a minute. You'll get a copy, link through to the recording, slides, etc. And there's always the offer there for some additional help. And without further ado, what's next week all about? Well, it's all about brand. We'll be talking next week all about brand. So thank you very much for your time. I'm conscious of, I'm going to go over the questions, and if anyone has got anything here, I'm going to see if anyone has any questions. If not, I'm going to say fond farewell. And thank yous to everybody. I just hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've found some tips there. And I'm more than happy just to hang around for a few minutes if anyone has any personal questions, not personal questions, any specific questions. I'll gladly answer those. But if not, I'll see you same time next week.
Simon, can I just ask one question?
You can.
Yeah. You know, whenever you're talking about the @ sign and the hashtag, what's the difference between the two? What's the significance?
Right. A hashtag refers to a topic. So, for example, hashtag Brexit or hashtag COVID-19. The @ sign refers to an individual or a company.
Right. Does that link to the website or the?
It doesn't link automatically. It will link, if you use the @ sign, it will link to the person's Facebook page, or if you're using the @ sign LinkedIn or Instagram, it will link to those social media platforms.
Okay, yeah.
The hashtag is referring to a topic or a trend.
Yeah.
Well, if that helps, George, yeah? Right.
Simon.
Go on.
May.
Who's first?
Actually, You know, every time you give us wonderful presentations, and I really love your slides, especially the round background. I'm always wondering how you made it. You know,
Can you repeat the question, Catherine? I missed it. The PowerPoint background. Well, yeah. Big shout out to the council. I have to. I'm delivering this on behalf of Humber Growth Hub, so I have to use their branding. So that's
not girl my SME background, not that background. Your personal round background. Can you please go to the previous slides? Not this one.
Yeah. Well, they're built in within a lot of the options you can create within PowerPoint.
Oh, so you basically chose this round background.
That's right. That's right.
I see.
Okay.
I liked it. Very beautiful.
Good. Well, I'm glad you do.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Catherine. Mark has asked a question. What was the site you mentioned about infographics?
Yes, Simon, you mentioned it as if it was like was it like a stock place for infographics?
Yeah, there is. You can use Canva for this, but there's also, I think it's...
How do you spell that, Simon?
CANVA is Canva. There's also info-gram. Remind me, I'll make a note to send it to you, because there are very simple ways in which to create infographics, which, you know, rather than put up a long-winded explanation or statistics, to use something like that. Far better. But Deborah's saying Canva's great, so I use Canva all the time, you know, and I get commission every time I mention it. So use Canva.
Keep saying another 10 times, Simon. No, that's great. Thanks. I didn't know that. That's brilliant too. Awesome. I'll go and investigate that. But drop me.
Please do. Yeah. That's
all right. Thank you.
That's another £1 you owe me, Mark.
Yeah. Well, I'm running out of money at this rate. You know. Jeez, I'm having to raid the piggy bank next week, Simon.
Yeah, YouTube, Quinette, I will send a copy. So you get a copy of the slides, you get an invitation to next week's extravaganza, and for those of you, you know, who don't want to watch Emmerdale, I will send you, I'm a celebrity. I'll send you a link to my YouTube channel. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, good to see you.
Simon, can you please also send the infographics link to me?
Yeah, I'll send it. I'll make a note of the infographics as well. It's no problem.
Thank you.
Infographics, yeah, no problem. Great.
Simon, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember once you told us